What's going on, Dan K Show fans? Another week, another Dan K Show. We've got reactions to the power rankings. We've got a little thing we call the J rating, where our algorithmic robotic superstar Lucas Jones puts his brain flow to the use of you folks at home to figure out, did we get it right in our elite power rankings? And some fun stuff in the world of the college KRACH rating. You know, it might have rated teams pretty close to what Lucas and I thought, with an interesting #1 nationwide in the premiere. All this and more on the Dan K Show coming up now. All right, hockey fans, it's time to get into a fun week show. It's always like a deep breath moment the week after our power rankings episode. And with power rankings coming up quick on the docket, Lucas and I have to get into a show. And for the first time in a while, it's time for my three things. Thing #1, soda, baby. No, not soda pop, hockey in soda. We're going to Minnesota the moment this thing airs. We're going to be hopping aboard some planes, soaring through the air, and heading out to Hockey Day, Minnesota. Before we get there on Sunday afternoon with the Steele County Blades taking on the Mullets, we got an axe to hand out. That's Paul Bunyan's axe, going to be handed out to the winner of the Minnesota Moose and Minnesota Blue Ox, a huge battle royale in the land of hockey greatness. Thing #2, the power rankings stirred up some fun. They stirred up some happy, some sad. What they really stirred up, some fired up Northern Cyclones. And they not only took it personally. Lucas, sometimes as a broadcaster, you just say the wrong word and it does not go well with a fan base. I said the word embarrassed about the Michigander, the Mishasonk in that Cyclones Rush battle. Well, guess what? It was taken personally. And my apologies to the Hitmen and Rockets Hockey Club, who had to deal with that premier side from the Northern Cyclones this weekend. Dominating performances. Thing #3, a lot of hockey to talk, and a filthy Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, tough to say, goal scored. Lucas and I will have that in the empty net. You got to stick around till the end, Rapids River Kings fans, for that one. Before anything else, before we keep moving, my right-hand man, Mike Consigliere, Monfrere from Another Mayor. And if you see his ears disappear at any point in the broadcast, do not panic. He's got that blur going in the background because everything's a blur. He's moving so supersonic fast to cover all things hockey. Lucas, what's cracking?
Well, Dan, I've got the blur behind me because behind the blur is all the equipment that I'm going through to make sure that we are packed and ready to go for our little plane trip to Minnesota this week. And we got 2 games on the docket, one Friday, Moose versus Blue Ox for the Paul Bunyan Axe, and one Sunday, a little outdoor game between the Steele County Blades and the Minnesota Mullets. We're broadcasting a live show. We're broadcasting a live game. We got to get the equipment situation right. And until then, you've got the blur.
That's it, man. And you know what? This weekend, all the great hockey going on nationwide. My brain was a blur trying to keep up with it all. But before we get into kind of recapping our power rankings, recapping what the numbers are saying, there's 2 different algorithmic ways to kind of rank these teams. In the past, we've seen the KRACH rating put into use. Now we've got the Dan K Show created J rating, which is created by genius, superstar, and all things connoisseur Lucas Jones. That's why we name it the J rating. And, you look though at our power rankings, we're gonna have a lot to talk about here and kind of see where things shape out. But before that, let's get to Minnesota here, Lucas. We're getting ready to hop on a plane. We've got a busy weekend ahead of us. Okay, we got Friday. We're gonna be taking in the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, the Minnesota Moose, the Minnesota Blue Ox. Let's get into that one a little bit, Lucas. We're gonna do a full-time pregame show you can tune into Friday night. But what should folks expect to see from Dan K and Lucas Jones on site, on YouTube.com, on Hockey TV?
Well, I think the big thing is, we're getting ready to be on site and set up our pregame show. You'll be able to see that on the YouTube page. Stay close to social media profiles and pages to get that link when it drops. But I think the biggest thing, if you're going to be at the rink, is just going to be an ability to get some interviews with us. We'll be able to take some pictures. We've heard that there might be some giant versions of our faces involved in this.
I have seen them and they are terrifying.
They are terrifying. Thankfully, that's a great picture. So I'm not super annoyed by it there, but it is It is going to be a lot of fun, I think. I know that the Blue Ox take a lot of care in putting together a great in-rink experience. They have giveaways. They've got stuff going on in the intermissions. They always take, the best of the best. They mold it, they build it to what they can do. And not only that, but you are going to get an amazing trophy presentation every time we've done a trophy game, Dan. It has been an absolute raucous event between the crowd, between the players who are living and breathing to try to win this trophy. It's going to be so much fun. It's a can't miss game on Hockey TV.
If you are playing in junior hockey and you don't have a trophy game yet, bother everyone. Let them know, Dan K, Lucas Jones, you want a way to get us out to the barn? Guess what? Trophy games are the way to do it. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. You talk about it right now. We've all been through it. We love the game of hockey, Lucas. We love putting in the work each and every day, but it's a lot of work to be a good junior hockey player. Sometimes January can be like the dog days of August in baseball, right? Where it just kind of slogs. And rather than being like the folks in baseball and never updating, never changing, and never finding a way to make things more exciting in August and just going, well, that's August baseball. People want to see a guy start an inning on second base. Let's do that, even though no one's voted yes for that. Instead, in hockey, we have the opportunity to create these one-of-a-kind experiences, Lucas, this experience to kind of put a one-of-a-kind event on ice for this trophy. And this time, it's not the Cheese Curd Cup this go around. It's the battle for the axe. And this thing is 6 feet tall. I am going to have to wield it on ice, Lucas, to hand this thing out. I'm just worried I'm not strong enough to carry it.
Well, I hope you've been doing your push-ups, your pull-ups, and maybe some curls, I think, because it looks pretty intimidating. And I know another thing that's intimidating, especially for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Is outdoors in Minnesota in the winter, because on Sunday, the 23rd, we are heading to Mankato Blakesley Field for an outdoor game between the Steele County Blades, Minnesota Mullets. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be on YouTube as well. We hope everything's going to work properly. No space heaters allowed. Dan, that might be one where you might want to pack some extra layering.
Yes, I've been ordering a lot of stuff, Lucas. I got my boots. So my boots are actually dress shoes as well, and the thermal boots. Okay. Wow. I don't want to spill anything. Let me try to unbox here on the air. I've been really working on this. I am a little worried because I was supposed to have gloves show up today, Lucas.
Yeah.
And they've not shown up yet. But look at these puppies. Thermal insides. What I will warn everyone, look at that. Look at that boot.
I might have to steal that from you.
That is a dress boot, okay? And it's got the thermal inside. And what I will be worried about, we'll see how it works. I didn't read that there is down inside the boot.
Oh.
Dan K is, as we all know, who watch the Dan K show, allergic to down.
Well, we now we can finally put to the test whether it's the actual down feather or simply the dust that is trapped by the feather.
I mean, my feet have never had an issue before with the down, so it's going to be fine. I'm down for the down, as they say. We're going to be okay. We're not going to have any issues, but I'm starting to pack up now, Lucas. I'm starting to get myself ready. It's going to be cold. At puck drop right now, there have been some talks of things feeling like they are going to get below zero at some point during the night at the game. But you're saying it's warming up a little bit, Lucas. Saying 20 degrees right now, puck drop.
Yeah, looking like 15 to 20. That is the perfect range. That is just cold enough where our camera equipment can still function, but or I should say not cold enough that our camera equipment won't function, but just cold enough to really make you feel like you're outdoors on the pond.
How much would you pay me to wear my Gator K Florida hat and bring that out to this cold weather and just kind of hang out, see what happens, see how long it takes my ears to freeze off?
Yeah, I would say you get about 10. If you can get 10 seconds in that hat outdoors at center ice, that's a $20 right there.
I think the hat would just disintegrate like Thanos snapped his fingers. I think that would be what happens with that one. But, you look at it, Lucas, 2 great games of hockey. We're also going to take in some Minnesota high school hockey on Saturday night in Mount, Minnesota. So if folks are in the area want to come check out the game, we're going to check out We've got some fans, Lucas. We got some of the folks, the parents from the Tampa Bay Juniors. Congratulations to Jonah Mortensen on the move to the Twin City Thunder next year, tendered by Dan Hodge. He's going to be going to the NCDC squad in Twin City. Dan K might have been around while some folks were talking. And I saw the Stroats and I said, hey, it's my guys, the Stroats. And I saw Dan Hodge and I said, hey, Hodgie baby. And next thing you know, did I do anything? No, I had nothing to do with it.
No.
But are these guys that, maybe they shake hands because I shake hands and because Lucas shakes hands? We're all friends.
That's it. We're just making friends. We're making alliances, whether we have to go across state lines or across imaginary borders drawn up because of imaginary conflicts. We'll do whatever we have to do to promote these players and get them to the next level.
That's it, man. That's what it's all about. Tune in all weekend long. You're going to get to see our Friday pregame show, Dan K. Lucas Jones, find out who we think will win it all. We're going to have a big-time breakdown of the matchup. Minnesota Blue Ox, Minnesota Moose. 8 p.m. local start for those of you on the East Coast. It's going to be a little later, but you'll be done with the day with work. It's 9 o'clock at night. You hang out. You do your thing. If it's me, I'm probably drinking coffee, whatever you're drinking at that point in the day. You tune on Hockey TV. You watch us. YouTube, you can tune into the pregame show. That's going to be a fun one. Who will win the axe? Let us know. Let us know online. Blue Ox or Minnesota Moose. Go to @the_Dan Show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you go. And let us know who you think will win the axe. Hashtag Paul Bunyan. What do you want to say? Hashtag Paul Bunyan's axe? Hashtag Bunyan's axe? Bunyan's axe sounds like an axe that cuts off bunions.
Yeah, we'll maybe workshop that a little bit.
I have been working on that with Dr. Scholes, my buddy, Dr. Scholes, the Bunyan's axe.
Unless they're a new sponsor, I'd say maybe we'll workshop that hashtag a little bit.
100%. We'll figure out a hashtag. For now, just reach out to us at @the_NK Show. Let us know if you think the Minnesota Blue Ox or Minnesota Moose are going to win the big one on Friday night. Who will win the axe? Sunday, as Lucas said, Blakesley Field, Mankato, Minnesota. We're going out to soda. You betcha. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to be that one. Steel County Blades, Minnesota Mullets, high flying action. I'm going to make a prediction right now, Lucas. Over 2 touchdowns in the game between the two sides. I think it's a 15-goal game.
Whoa.
I think it's a 15-goal output. I think both teams are going to open up the ice. It's going to be cold. Netminders are going to be heavily tested. And I think that ice is going to be a moving and a shaking 15-goal output. Now we got to get into a different type of output. The output from the algorithm, the output from the computers, the output from the mathematics. In the Premier, the KRACH rating. In the Elite, the J rating. What did the numbers say about the power rankings? Who do the numbers think are the best teams in the Premier and Elite? And will our robot overlords allow us to continue to have monthly power rankings episodes with human interaction? We'll have to wait and see coming up next on the Dan K Show.
You are watching the Dan K Show. Everything USPHL, from the NCDC to the Premier and Elite Leagues. The Dan K Show with Dan K and Lucas Jones.
Welcome back, folks. And for this segment, you can put your Dan K Show hats away. And please open your math books to page 63, where we'll be going over some of the various ways that junior hockey teams get ranked, the J rating, and then the KRACH rating. We're going to start with the J rating, though, because this one has generated a lot of buzz, specifically on recording day. Today, Wednesday, this episode coming out Thursday, but we posted the comparison between what the J rating algorithm has printed us, the top 15 the J rating does in the Elite, and our power rankings, the hashtag the algorithm versus hashtag the Dan K Show. And Dan, while there were some similarities, there were also some small differences going up and down the ranks. I think maybe because the power rankings changed as much as they did, but there's a lot of interesting things happening.
Yeah, the most interesting part of it is part of our human intervention with this is the idea of being able to kind of put an onus on division, right? But like using math still to do that, still using a mathematics to it. But there is some sort of our human ranking mixed with just the algorithmic nature of putting together a J rating or a KRACH rating. The biggest jump you see within all of this is that Carolina Junior Canes team, right? We human-wise rank them number 6, which, maybe that's where you talk about the human interaction and you look at it. We talk about it in college football. If Alabama and Georgia are 1 and 2 in the nation, it's tough for a human to put another SEC team at number 3 or 4, right? Because you can't look at a national championship tournament and just make it the SEC playoffs. You have to have other folks in there. So maybe that's where bias jumps in and kicks this Carolina team out to number 6 when maybe they really are a 3 as your J rating has it. Look at Tampa. You look at Florida. I mean, you look at us human-wise compared to what the numbers say. It also says we have a pretty good grasp of this thing, Lucas, because the numbers – this is 90% numbers, okay? This is 90% numbers, 10%, a little bit of a tweak here and there. So to have Tampa 4, Eels 5, Rush 1, Generals 2 in the J rating, and to have Rush 1, Generals 2, Tampa 3, Eels 4, I mean, we're almost dead on and dead even with what the computer says.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to note here is that they are two separate processes, right? We don't take the power rankings and then force them into the J rating. The J rating numbers come out after the power rankings for that reason. So the J rating is a combination of some of the key stats to a junior hockey team, penalties involved, goal differential, and a couple of other things that we think are the boiled down essence of ranking a hockey team. And our power rankings get into a little bit more of the weeds sometimes, where we look at individual matchups, things like that. Now, obviously, the J rating does take into account strength of schedule. And Dan, I think what'll be an interesting note is at the end of the season, taking a look at which team had the strongest schedule throughout the season might provide some insight. But I think there are two things that catch my eye almost immediately between the J rating and our power rankings. So, as you said, the J rating has 3 teams from the Southeast stacked on top of each other with a fairly sizable difference between them, especially when you consider the rest of the ranking. The Tampa Bay Juniors at number 4, we have them at number 3. I think the most interesting thing is the Florida Eels. The J rating has the Florida Eels at 5. The Florida Eels are at 4 in our power rankings, but because they jumped 4 spots, right? Yeah. So the Florida Eels have moved up in the J rating as well, a few spots. So the formula is working. It's doing what it's intending to do. The difference you're seeing, Dan, comes down to a lot of the little things, right? It's trying to take into account the divisions. It's trying to take into account strength of schedule. But I think the one interesting thing as well is you've got a team like the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights, right? Sitting in third of the overall points in the elite, who in both the J rating and our power ranking sits at 8th place after a really tough month. Yeah. So I think what you've got here is, I think, success for the J rating so far. It's had a pretty high accuracy coming through, predicting the first few weeks of results. The biggest thing is this, and this is kind of the final point I wanted to come to, is that we all know what junior hockey is. Junior hockey is not necessarily over the course of a season. Junior hockey teams find themselves changing from month to month more often than an NHL or a college team might, right? You've got injuries, you've got players coming up, especially in the elite and premier, players going down to get more development, players being taken to the NCDC. The makeup of your team changes month to month. Mm-hmm. The J rating takes that into account where some other ranking systems don't. So our hockey rankings do take that into account. And I think that's why our ranking system, at least in my very, very biased opinion, might end up being one of the most reliable ranking systems on the market.
Not might, it is. And the idea is this isn't a numbers game like you're talking sabermetrics in baseball, right? Where you can look at day one of the season, extrapolate over 162 games and make a conclusion. These, as you said, these rosters are a moving target always in junior hockey. We're always changing. There's always young athletes who look at a Tristan Avaletta, right? He goes down to Charlotte. He's playing with the Rush at the beginning of the season. Just maybe not the right fit for him, not the right place to be. He gets traded back. The Rush want to do the right thing for him. His old squad, the Moose, want to do the right thing for him. He gets traded back to his old squad where he's comfortable, where he fits in the system. He makes it work, dominates, back to dominating. He played really well in Charlotte, playing even better in Minnesota now. You get moments like that, right? You lose to Tristan Avaletta. That's a game-changing move for the Charlotte Rush, and it's a game-changing ad for a team up in Minnesota. This happens all the time in junior hockey. There's the good stories of it like that. There's rough stories of it at times, right? And the ones that we fight against here is the Dan K Show and try to advocate for young athletes everywhere with. There's also just moments like Canada. Canada shuts down, right? You see things where the rosters change, where people are moving, shaking. And, for me, Lucas, it's all about, if you're going to rank these teams, it's about creating silos where they're ranked in while driving in success from the past, right? And kind of weighing it based on the roster. And that's what you've done. That's what you've accomplished. Look at a team like Potomac. What I will say, looks like your J rating with Hampton Roads at 12 and Potomac at 14, Lucas. Hampton Roads has played 7 less games than Potomac. They trail them by 12 points. The J rating, is it officially, Lucas? I don't know how the math works here. You're the guy behind it. Is it predicting a 7-game win streak at some point for Hampton Roads to say that they're going to pass Potomac in the rankings?
So you bring up an interesting point, right? Because you can use it to predict right now in the next couple of months or the next couple of weeks for sure. And I think what it's predicting is that if the games were even, Hampton Roads would be a stronger team.
Interesting. And that's the kind of stuff you look at. It's not always standings. It's not always numbers. It's not always points. The paper doesn't always tell you the answer. The numbers don't always tell you the answer. And the Dan K Show can't always tell you the answer, right? But we're here to advocate for the best way to rank these teams, to really put these guys in an even playing field and put teams around the country on an even playing field. How many times do we hear you missed our guys, or you didn't believe in us enough? And Lucas, we turn to the KRACH rating in the Premier to talk about that story. A team that at this point, I think I could stand atop a plane and write their name in the sky and they'd still be mad at me, Lucas. And you know what? For all good reason. This team, we ranked them number 3 overall in our power rankings. The KRACH ratings, which are used in collegiate hockey, which to us, we're trying to build upon and grow with this J rating mentality, where the KRACH rating works in a very good, in a controlled environment. It works at a very good job of being predictive in where you're at, rather than predictive into where you're going. It's not trying to predict a champion. It's just trying to give you the pure numbers of where everyone sits, which is a great tool to have. What I will tell you, when it tells you where everyone sits right now, it's got the Northern Cyclones at number 1, Lucas. The KRACH rating has listed the Northern Cyclones as the number 1 team in the Premier. And after this weekend showing, a team that was on an absolute V for Vendetta tour, or Dan K for Vendetta, whatever you want to call it, man. These guys are on the revenge tour 1,000%. And this team looked like a number 1 team this weekend. And the KRACH ratings, the numbers, the algorithm, saying that they are as well.
Yeah, I think it does a good job, in some respects, as we've talked about. It's not too far off with anyone. There's nothing here that makes you kind of think that something's wildly incorrect, right?
Yeah.
But I like that you point out the Northern Cyclones, obviously, as being number 1, because we were very impressed by them. I know the numbers back it up. Their strength of schedule certainly backs it up. The way they take it to these teams back it up. One other note for me personally, Dan, is the Florida Eels. Yeah. And the KRACH rating, they're number 3 in our power rankings. We had them 10. They've been, the story with the Eels is they've just been slowly sliding all year. But a lot of teams that are more chaotic, moving and leaving and dipping around them, the Florida Eels have maintained their spot in the top 10. KRACH rating has them at 3. I had them as the national champion. I think there's something to be said here. There's an argument to be made where, the KRACH rating looks at the Eels and sees a successful team. We see a successful team that might be struggling at the moment, but the two things there kind of show you that there is a successful team in the Eels.
Yeah, I mean, it bears fruit there, but then you look at it as well, Lucas, and you see a team like Wilkes-Barre at number 5, and we talk about the ability to kind of put that team in that silo, right? And not just look at the overall record, right? That's the devaluation, I think, of just some of the strength of schedule early in the season for Wilkes-Barre. But then look at the strength of schedule of late. Like, if you're telling me to rank a team right now, if I don't have Wilkes-Barre 1, 2, or 3 in the power rankings, then I'm outside my mind, right? Just with what I've seen, with what you watch, you cannot understand the game of hockey and watch that Wilkes-Barre team, or watch that Northern team, or watch that Charlotte team, or even I'll throw the Florida Eels in there on a good day, right? They had a tough showcase, but on a good day, you cannot watch one of those 4 teams and not say any of those 4 teams don't have a clear-cut chance of raising a cup. Those are cup contenders right there. So, it's just, that's kind of where we like to see these numbers controlled a little bit more and moved within the silos of today. You even look at a team like Utah, right? The Utah Outliers, why were they so far back in our power rankings and they're at number 4 in the KRACH systems ratings? It's because of the loss of Saran, right? You lose your best defenseman, that weighs in, and numbers can't tell you lost your best defenseman, right? Like you look a couple of years back, the Rangers were a pure cup hopeful, and they had their best defenseman, Ryan McDonough, playing with a shattered foot. They lost Zuccarello. If you asked the KRACH rating how good that team was that year, it would have spit out that they were a top 2 team in the Eastern Conference. But with injuries, with guys not healthy, with guys off the ice, like that changes things. And that's where the human element can help. So it's about driving down the human element from being too much, where it's Bama versus Georgia every year, or Bama versus Clemson every year, And it's upping the computer element enough where you can also kind of create a number that nobody has too much control over. And that's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I think you made a good point, right? Because for every Florida Eel, right, there is someone like a Wilkes-Barre Scranton, right? So you've got the team, the where it works, then there are areas where it doesn't work. And when you see more areas where it might not work as intended, that's a little bit of a cause for concern. And again, that's why we created the J rating. Because when we see the eye test, right, when you look at two teams and you can tell me, oh, with the defenseman out, they're a little bit worse, or they just got somebody back and a Tristan Avaletta, they're going to be a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And you can get your month-to-month ranking system to match up, to come to similar enough conclusions. That means that ranking system is tailored to do what you want it to do. As a math tutor, I can tell you, you can make numbers do anything you want, right? That's why, as I say sarcastically to my students, numbers can't always be trusted. But I think when the J rating shows you that month to month, these things change and they're relatively accurate with what you're actually seeing, it is predicting games at a 72% clip over the course of the season.
Yep.
To me, that's a success. And I think you say the KRACH rating's good at college, right? Analytics might be good at major league sports. But I think that junior hockey needs its own rankings. It needs its own ranking system that's not based off what these things are based off of. And unless somebody who knows, two people who know the sport of junior hockey as well as we do, build it, it's just not going to be accurate.
100%, Lucas. I agree. I mean, you look at it, the Vegas success rate, 55.5 is what they need to make money, right? It's what they need to be successful in the business that they live in, which it's not to create, it's not the means to the same end, but it's still the same means, right? You're still trying to be predictive. You're trying to get to a point. For them, it's to make money. For us, it's to properly lay out who the best team in the country is, so guys can compete to be at top of it all and then go win that cup at the end of it. 72% success rate, can't beat that. Pretty solid. We got to get to the empty net here, Lucas. It's time to get to the empty net. We've got a Super Bowl contest coming your way. Super Sunday going to be your thing. And we've got a pretty cool goal coming out of Wisconsin Rapids that I promised earlier. Welcome to the empty net. What's going on, hockey fans? Welcome back into the empty net, our favorite portion of each show where we talk to you, the fan. Well, you guys sent in the goal of the week from Mr. Reese McDonald, and EIEIO was this goal from McDonald, an absolute barn raiser. Check it out. And Lucas, this is a goal where he just stalls, he delays, he waits, he holds, he wonders, he wishes, and moves late to that backhand to beat a diving netminder with the big paddle. Just how silky the mitts were for McDonald.
Well, Reese is making goalies fall to pieces. Plays like that cement status of an elite shooter with great hands and making it look so easy.
The inventors of Reese's said, "You've got chocolate in my peanut butter." Well, the netminder trying to stop Reese McDonald said, "You got a puck in the back of my net. What's going on here?" That's what it's all about. Lucas, an incredible goal from Reese McDonald. A little bit of a SC top 10 worthy nature right there. Great work and great angle on the camera from those Wisconsin Rapids River Kings. Before we close out, Lucas, we got a contest coming up for Super Sunday. You've got 27 days to sign up starting today. 27 days. We're doing this, Lucas. So also, let's start here. We will be participating with the Charlotte Rush in their St. Baldrick's event this year. What does that mean, Dan? That means that luscious lock of hair on Lucas's head and whatever's going on with me will both be shaved for a great cause, for charity, for a foundation that raises money for children's cancer patients. And Lucas, it's a cause that is so near and dear to Ryan Crothers' heart, the owner of the Charlotte Rush, alongside his wife, Julie Crothers, his whole family, the organization, the team. And it's one that he introduced us to over the last few years. And we wanted to do something. We needed to do something to help out, man. It's a great opportunity. And not only with this Super Sunday situation, you're going to get the help donate to get Lucas's hair cut off, but you're also going to get to help make yourself some money as well. So fill your pocket while filling the pockets of a great organization, a great foundation in the St. Baldrick's Fund. You can help us get Lucas's hair shaved, and you can help you win some money, all for a good cause. The Dan K Show Super Sunday Pool. There's only 100 spots in it. You can have as many as 5 boxes. Lucas, if you get the final score, that's $4,000 you'll win. $4,000, 4 large, 4 smackaroonies.
I mean, that is a tough number to beat almost anywhere else. I got to be honest, Dan, with all this money heading to St. Baldrick's, this morning when I woke up, I was a little sad about having to cut my hair off, but you see all the money, you see all the goodwill, and I'm going to be able to donate my hair, right? You donate it to a foundation that makes wigs for young children. I was lucky enough to be able to reach kind of that minimum length for them to be able to take it. I'm happy to do it. We're happy to raise the money. And, as the Charlotte Rush told us last year, hair grows back. It's no big deal.
That's it, man. And it's what it's all about. We hope you guys will participate. I mean, for the fun of Super Sunday, give yourself something to win, something to watch, something to cheer for, and also support a great cause in St. Baldrick's. You can follow along with Lucas and I. Lucas, next week, we're going to be getting that link up that was shared with us by Coach Crothers, where you can also donate directly to St. Baldrick's. If you don't want to participate in the Super Sunday Pool, if you don't think you got good luck, if you want to stay out of the pool, you can also donate to St. Baldrick's Foundation anytime through us here. We'll have that up on our pages Monday morning after our trip out to beautiful, sunshiny Minnesota. With that in mind, Lucas, your parting words. Ladies and gentlemen, Kowalski, you taking notes? It's going to be freezing cold in Minnesota. Lucas Jones will probably freeze. He will be a frozen block of ice.
Skipper.
I'm worried. It's going to be cold, Skipper. No, it's going to be great. We go down to Minnesota or up to Minnesota for me. I'm from Florida. When Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. Thanks for watching the Dan K Show. Wingman Sports, Selly Salt, the Elite Junior Profiles, everybody. Remastered Sleep, the Dan K Show, the USPHL, all of it. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and thank you to you for watching the most watched show in junior hockey.